Case File 12. The Clan in the Pines. The world didn't fall all at once. It rotted slowly, supply lines broke, cities emptied, roadside checkpoints vanished one by one. 2 months after the collapse, the government radio stopped broadcasting entirely. That's when Jordan realized he was on his own. He traveled alone, moving through the ruins of small Colorado towns, always avoiding forests. Too many stories about what lived out there now. Survivors whispered about a clan something feral, something organized, something that had been living off people long before the world ended. But Jordan was desperate. He needed food, batteries, medicine. His last water filter was nearly dead. That's what pushed him into the pine woods north of Golden, following an old maintenance road barely visible under fallen needles. The forest felt wrong immediately. No birds, no insects, just the wind pushing through trees like a long exhale. The deeper he went, the more he felt watched. It wasn't paranoia, his instincts had gotten sharp. Near sunset he found a cabin slouched in a clearing. Boards patched the windows, but faint candlelight glowed from inside. The smell of smoke drifted from the chimney, real smoke, real heat, real people. Jordan hesitated and tapped his knife handle for reassurance. He stepped onto the porch and knocked. The light inside shifted. A soft set of footsteps approached. Then the door cracked open, revealing a woman in her late 40s with dirt on her cheeks and hollow, fever-bright eyes. She smiled too quickly. "Traveling alone?" she asked. Jordan lied. "My group's nearby." The woman's gaze flicked behind him, into the trees. "Then come in quick. You don't want to be out here after dark." He stepped inside, the door shutting like a trap behind him. The air in the cabin was thick and warm, too warm like a butcher's smokehouse. A pot simmered on a small stove, filling the room with a savory smell that made Jordan uneasy. The woman gestured for him to sit at a rough wooden table. "My boys will be home soon," she said. "They'll be glad to have company." Jordan glanced around. The house looked lived in, but off. Too many locks on the inside of the door. Scratches on the floorboards near a back room as if something heavy had been dragged. And above the table, hanging from a beam, thin cords of drying meat. Not animal meat. Jordan kept his expression still. "I just need water and a place to rest," he said. The woman ladled soup into a bowl and slid it to him. "You're welcome to stay tonight, but you must stay quiet." They hunt sound. Jordan didn't lift the spoon. They? Her eyes didn't blink. The clan? The ones in the pines. Before he could ask more, a noise outside snapped both their heads up a distant whoop, like a human voice warped by hunger. The woman's face tightened. "They're close," she whispered. Jordan rose from his chair. "Then I should leave." "You can't," she said, voice trembling. "They smell movement. If you step outside, they'll track you. Better to stay where it's warm." Jordan stepped back from the table, heart thudding. The woman suddenly dropped her warm tone. "Eat," she said. "You'll need your strength." She reached toward a drawer. Jordan saw the glint of a knife. ... He moved first. Jordan bolted to the door, sliding 2 of the locks free before she grabbed his jacket. Her strength shocked him, fingers digging into his shoulder, pulling with a feral desperation. "You can't leave," she snarled. They're hungry. They haven't eaten in days. Jordan wrenched free, slamming an elbow into her ribs. She collapsed, gasping. He tore open the last lock and burst onto the porch. The forest was no longer silent. Shapes moved between the trees fast, low, wrong. Human silhouettes, but jerking in unnatural motions. Limbs too eager, too loose. Their eyes glinted pale in the moonlight, reflecting like animals. The clan. Jordan sprinted across the clearing, branches whipping his arms. Behind him, the woman screamed a harsh, guttural cry. The shapes turned toward the noise and rushed the cabin instead, skittering across the ground like starving dogs. Jordan didn't look back. He didn't want to see what they did to her. He moved deeper into the woods, feet slipping on pine needles. The clan didn't run. Normally they snapped between positions, crouching, then lunging, then freezing, like they had forgotten how human bodies were meant to move. One broke ahead of him, a tall, slack-jawed figure with bone necklaces hanging from its chest. Jordan slid under a fallen tree, breathing in dirt as it clawed above him. Its fingers were sharpened into points. He crawled until he reached a dry creek bed and rose again, sprinting through the moonlit trench. But no matter how fast he moved, the clan stayed close, always close-breathing hoarse and wet behind him. Then he saw it, a light, a flicker in the distance, a lantern swinging, a human voice whispering, "Here, down here." Jordan stumbled toward it. The figure holding the lantern was a teenage boy wearing a scavenger jacket filled with pockets. When Jordan reached him, the kid grabbed his arm and yanked him behind, a sheet of camouflage tarp hanging between two boulders. It wasn't just a tarp, it was a concealed entrance. Inside was a narrow passage of rocks leading downward. Dozens of solar lamps flickered faintly along the walls. A hideout. "Move," the kid whispered. Jordan followed him deeper until the passage opened into an underground bunker. Maybe an old storm shelter expanded by hand. 15 people huddled inside, families. Older folks, 2 kids coloring on cardboard. All of them silent, all of them listening. A woman approached Jordan with a finger raised to her lips. She waited until the clan's wet breathing faded from above. Then she finally spoke. "You're lucky," she said quietly. "Most who enter these woods don't make it past the first night." Jordan caught his breath. What are they? They weren't like people. They were people, she said. Decades ago, a group of survivalists up in the mountains. When the collapse happened, they didn't panic, they celebrated. They cut off contact, fell into ritual, started eating anyone who crossed into their territory. Jordan swallowed. Cannibals. Worse, they believe when you devour someone, you take their strength, their memories, their voice. Years of that. It changed them. Their bodies adapted to hunting humans. Their minds cracked. The kid added, they listened for breath, for heartbeat, for footstep vibrations. That's why we live underground. Jordan looked around the bunker. How long have you all been hiding like this? The woman hesitated, lowering her eyes. Since the government left, she said. Since the outside world stopped answering. Jordan stayed in the bunker overnight. But he couldn't rest. The clan scraped the rocks above, sniffing, dragging something heavy, probably the woman from the cabin. At dawn, Jordan approached the woman who led the group. "I need to reach the main road," he said. "My people, if they're still out there, they'll be heading that way." The woman frowned. "Leaving on foot is suicide." "I don't have a choice." The teenage boy overheard. "There's a way," he whispered. An old ranger tower past the ridge. They used to store emergency supplies there before the collapse. A radio, too. Jordan felt adrenaline kick in. "Can you take me?" The boy nodded. They left at noon, when the clan slept deepest. The forest felt even more sinister in daylight bones hanging from branches. Skin stretched like flags between trees. Footprints circling old campsites. Halfway up the ridge, the boy stopped suddenly. "Don't move," he said. Jordan froze. A figure crouched 30 feet ahead, its head twitching in tiny increments. It sniffed the air, its ribs pressed through its skin like sharpened bars. Jordan held his breath. The clan member turned away slowly, then scuttled into shadow. They kept walking. At last, the ranger tower appeared through the trees rusted. Tall, leaning slightly. The ladder groaned as they climbed. Inside, dust coated everything, but a solar-powered radio still blinked faintly. Jordan grabbed the receiver. "This is Jordan Hall, survivor. Coordinates unknown, but near the Golden Pines Preserve. If anyone hears this..." A voice crackled through before he finished. "We hear you." The boy gasped. Jordan leaned close. "Who is this?" "We've been tracking that area," the voice said. "Stay put." "IVAC team inbound." Jordan felt relief wash through him, until he noticed the boy wasn't looking at him. He was staring at the forest below. The clan was awake, dozens, emerging from the pines, looking up at the tower, then moving fast. Jordan lifted the radio again. "Hurry."